All right, folks, this is Harris Sultan. So yesterday, on the 31st of August, tens of thousands of Australians came out, not only in major cities like Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, but also in regional cities like Townsville. And all of them was saying one thing. We want an end to mass migration. Why? Because every time you apply for a rental property, 100 people turn up and only one family goes away with a successful application. What happens to the 99 other families? I've lived in Australia for 22 years, and I'm telling you, I have never seen Australian families struggle like they are struggling now. Homelessness is growing like it's never grown before. I used to tease my American family members who would come here and say, hey, look at our streets. You wouldn't see homeless people like you see rows upon rows of homeless people in America. But now it's changing. So the public is seeing all of that. Everyday, hardworking, decent Australian people are struggling. Every newcomer wants to live in Melbourne and Sydney, but we have limited number of houses. There's so much red taping around that we are not building enough houses. And on top of that, our economy has been stagnating. The only reason Australian economy is growing at 1 or 1.5% is because of immigration. It's an inflated number. So the public may not know the nitty-gritty of everything. I don't know it, but what I know is that people's lifestyle is going down. So I didn't know who the organizers were. There were a lot of arms and ahs about it, but as it turns out, the organizers were some shady characters because they gave this guy a microphone, Thomas Sewell, a self-confessed neo-Nazi, a white supremacist. But all the people who went there, I've spoken to some of them. I've spoken to Avi Yamini and some of my other friends who went there, and they told me the vast majority of people yelled at them, shouted at them. They told them no Nazis in this march. They were there for Australia and the preservation of Australian values and Australian way of life. These neo-Nazis, they're not popular in Australia. Let me show you some of the videos. Look at this father. Let me warn my American and British audience, this is Australian way of talking, okay? So Australians love to talk like this.
It was disgusting. See my little kids here? I wore that Aboriginal flag to show solidarity. March as one, together. And look what these fucking idiots have done.
He's referring to these neo-Nazis, white supremacists. They come from this banned organization called the National Socialist Network. As I said, they are self-professed neo-Nazis and white supremacists. And they're going at this guy's daughters because they're waving the Aboriginal flag.
You don't need to attack Australia, not communism.
What an idiot. What an idiot, this guy. He's saying we're here for Australia, not communism. What does the Aboriginal flag have to do with communism, you dickhead? Dumb as rock, these people. But again, these people do not form a majority.
Go fuck yourself. My two little girls cry over a bunch of Nazi shit. Fuck off!
Brother, 99% of us here are with you.
Yes.
We will protect your kids no matter what. And we'll protect you, right? That's the Aussie way.
So this guy, Thomas Sewell, he's a white supremacist. He's a neo-Nazi. He's the leader of the NSN. A remarkably fringe group.
It was disgusting.
Look at this. There's another video.
They keep coming over in their numbers. Even over in Perth, they have over 100 people per rental inspection. Services are so full. They're only offering families of $20 food relief in Salvos. We are in crisis. We don't talk about today. We're a lost country. You're welcome. Stay safe. Nice talking.
See that? So these people are not racist. These are everyday, hardworking, regular Australians who are feeling the pinch like we've never experienced before. That's why they're coming out. And the media, let me show you some headlines. That's ABC. This is our BBC. Community leaders say weekend rallies stir memories of white Australia policy. As I said, most of these tens of thousands of people who came out, they've got nothing to do with white Australia. That guy, Thomas Sewell, he was given a platform, he was given a stage to blurt out his racist agenda. But by that time, people were gone. Actually, let me show you. They were booted out. They were told to bugger off. Look at this. These racists were told to get lost. And even ABC covered it.
We're white Australians representing white Australia.
Representing white Australia. What about all the other Australians that are not white?
There are plenty of other people representing them.
There is no Australians that aren't white.
So anyone who's not white is not Australian?
Correct.
What about all the people who work and live in this country and contribute positively to it? What do you think of them?
They are visitors.
They've lived here their whole life, even if they were born here.
Doesn't matter. They are not Australians.
What would you like to happen to them?
I'd like them to go back to their own countries.
Why do you think the crowd turned on you today?
They didn't.
They did. There were a lot of chants of get the Nazi scum out of here. We don't want to listen to them. There were a lot of people who shouted at them. They actually were booted off.
They're all chasing you now.
There isn't. There's a small group of goons. The crowd was very supportive of us the entire day.
Another one.
It seems here like you're the small group. The crowd is a lot bigger, thousands.
Yeah.
Of course. Following us. Of course. They followed us. They cheered for us. It was a public rally. I mean,
They're not cheering for you now, are they?
they're gone. They're home. They're gone home. The rally's over. You're following us after we're leaving the rally.
When he was delivering his speech, again, why was he given a mic? Because the organizers were dodgy. And I would really hope that the police would look into them. They misled the Australian public. That's why they were so secretive about their intentions. Nobody knew who the organizers were. Nobody knew who's going to be speaking there. And then people like that spoke. So let me read you Alexandra's tweet, what she said. This is how you destroy a patriotic movement. The organizers never should have allowed this person on a stage. Get him off, shouted the crowd. They just fucked up the march. Get him the F off. We don't want neo-Nazis. I'm sick of this shit. You men in black, go home. We are not a racist nation. And I have 100% faith in the Australian public. I live in this country. 99% of the Australian public is not racist. I've said it so many times before. I have never been racially vilified. Never. Maybe partly because I don't wear my brownness or my Pakistani heritage on my sleeve. I don't go around telling people I'm a proud brown man, I'm a proud Pakistani, because then, yeah, I'm inviting the other person to say, well, if it's so good, why don't you go back? I've always believed in this. I am of the view that people who are so proud of their heritage, why are they here? Go and live with your people then. This culture was promoted by lefties. They said, oh, you should be proud of your heritage. That's okay. I don't think so. I disagree. If you are proud of your heritage, go back. I think the time has come that we need to set the record straight. In Australia, in Britain, in America, in Canada, if you have migrated to these countries or whichever country you migrated to, even if you have migrated to the UAE or Japan, by the way, people are protesting in Japan against migration too. It's happening all over the world because multiculturalism to a point has failed. This idea that you can be proud of your heritage and still live here is failed. Because these cultures have lived apart from each other for hundreds of years. How can they forget everything? It just doesn't work that way. Cultures don't work that way. But anyway, I think the time has come to set the record straight. Whichever country you migrate to, you have to put that country first. Nothing else. My heritage is Pakistani. I've said goodbye. I'm not loyal to that country. I am loyal to Australia. I took an oath to be loyal to Australian Constitution, its people, and uphold its values, and I will do that. I don't care about Pakistan anymore. I don't wish bad on Pakistan. I hope Pakistan becomes a good, successful country one day. But my interest, my future, my loyalty is with Australia. Now, a lot of people who've come from other cultures, they don't say that. Why don't they say that? They don't say that because our multicultural values have said, no, that's okay. You should be proud of your heritage. And look what you've got in return. These people wave Hamas flags. They burn Australian flags. And when you confront them, they tell you that, oh, you colonized us. Now it's our turn. I'm not making this up. I just saw this video. Listen to this woman. No shame. These people have no shame. They've been angering and provoking the public for so long that now the blowback is ready.
Bad for Europeans who are aware of the state of play because they know that their populations are dropping, that they're below replacement levels, and they also know that black and brown people have more children in general than white people. Europeans came, they saw potential in our resources. They extracted those resources and created the Industrial Revolution. Yep. Good on you, fellas. Built some amazing systems, railroads. We benefit from that today, okay? But the reality is, when you came and imposed your religion, your language, your dress, your customs, etc. on us, we didn't like it. So now the tables have turned. It doesn't feel great, right?
And we're not even doing it with guns.
It's this kind of language that they've been using to provoke everyday, ordinary Westerners for decades. And now the chickens have come home to roost. I'm not condoning this, But this was inevitable. I've been sounding the alarm for almost a decade. It's happening everywhere. These Muslims are saying, oh my God, what's going on? Why the whole British society has turned far right? When you were demanding Sharia for the UK. Anyway, so the people who were there, the vast majority of people, they went there for the preservation of Australian values and Australian way of life. They were not racist people. Now, it wasn't all a bed of roses, though. Avi Yemeni, my friend, now he was attacked by these goons. Look at this.
Yeah, thank you. Oh. It's,
As you can see. So this guy, he's a white supremacist. He's the leader of the NSN. It's a small group. They attacked his security. As you can see that. As you can see, it's a small group. So they attacked Avi and they tried to hijack the rally. But as I said, all of those Australians, they're everyday Australians, the same Australians that we see every day on the streets, and they're not racist. These people tried to hijack it. As I said, that guy, Thomas Sewell, or however you pronounce his name, he was given a stage. He was given the microphone by the organizers. So I want to know who the organizers are. They obviously gave them the microphone, and they were very careful. They didn't tell the public that this guy is going to be speaking on stage. Why? Because they knew that the public doesn't want to hear him or see him. He's a self-professed neo-Nazi. But they were clever. They were sneaky. They used a legitimate sentiment of anti-immigration because it's affecting real lives of real people. So they used that sentiment, and then they smuggled in their agenda or whatever their racism is. Now, I've been sounding this alarm for a very long time. Governments all around the world, you have to listen to your people. You can't just shrug your shoulders and push them on the side and say that this is just a small fringe element. They're not. Look what's happening in Britain. I've been saying that for a very long time. That whatever happens in England happens in Australia, and it's about to happen. Things are about to blow up in Britain. Tommy Robinson is about to bring in 1 million people on the streets. They're ready for a revolution. The same thing can happen here as well if the government doesn't listen to legitimate grievances of the public. Anthony Albanese, do not take this lightly. You brought in 2 million people in the last 4 years. Stop this mass migration. We don't have enough houses. We don't have enough trains. The infrastructure, everything is going down the drain. And I'm saying that as an immigrant myself. I don't understand why people think that you're an immigrant, therefore you should always be open to immigration. I took an oath to be loyal to Australia, not to the Department of Immigration. Living here is a privilege. It's not a God-given right to every citizen of the world. That's not how things work. But I worry, Anthony Albanese, if you don't listen to legitimate concerns of the public, then they're not going to go away. Ask Keir Starmer. Ask him when he called everyday ordinary Brits who had legitimate concerns and he brushed them aside by calling them far-right thugs. Ask him, how did that turn out? That number ballooned to millions now. And of course, when that number grows, then real far-right people take advantage of that too, as we are seeing on the streets of Britain. People are harassing and abusing ordinary innocent Muslims. That's going to happen. As Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London, said that terrorism is part and parcel of living in a multicultural city. Likewise, when ordinary people stand up to preserve their way of life, their culture and their values, some hate incidents do occur. It's part and parcel of it. I'm not endorsing it. I'm not condoning it. That's wrong. It should never happen, but that would happen. But if we don't want that to happen here in Australia, you need to listen to the public. Tens of thousands of people came out all across Australia. That number is going to balloon to hundreds of thousands of people if you do not listen. Stop this mass migration. Australian values are eroding away exactly how it happened in Britain. I told you, people do not just roll over and die. You can push them. to a certain extent. But it's like pushing a spring. You keep pushing it, but that energy is being stored in the spring and then it's going to come out in one hit. And that's when it's going to hurt you. Stop this mass migration. Listen to your people. Upgrade the infrastructure. Grow the economy. Stop these communist policies. Ban halal slaughter. Shut down these pro-Hamas rallies. End anti-Semitism. And I'm telling you, Australians are very different from their British counterparts. Aussies don't take shit. But yes, Australia is a very high-trust society. When you put us under lockdown, most of us stayed indoors. But as I said, there is a limit to pushing us against the wall. Australians will never compromise on Australian values. You've gone easy on these pro-Hamas people. You've gone easy on these people who burn Australian flags. I'm not saying anything new. This has happened on a much bigger scale in Britain. But unluckily for you, people in Australia are watching what's happening in Britain. That's why they're waking up a lot sooner than the people of Britain did. And lastly, I am a little bit worried because we don't have a Tommy Robinson-like figure in Australia. We don't have a Tommy Robinson. This legitimate protest could very easily be hijacked by these white supremacists. Luckily, most Australians are not white supremacists. They are not racists. They're genuine, decent, hardworking, everyday people. That's why they push them away. But if the government doesn't listen to these people, then you are running the risk of pushing these people towards the far right. Again, I'm not saying anything new. Everything that is about to unfold in Australia, we have a blueprint of that. It happened in Britain. 40% of my audience is British. All those people who are watching it, they'll be like, oh, that's what was happening 10 years ago, but we didn't do anything about it. Yes, the Australian public has woken up sooner than the British public did, but the things that are happening at the hands of our lefty government, these things were happening in England 10 years ago. Their demographics were changing. No people would allow their government to replace them with someone else. No people would allow that. Indians won't allow it. Muslims won't allow it. Pakistanis won't allow it. No one would allow it. So why would you expect the Australian public to allow their own replacement? The Brits allowed it. And look, they're waking up. Australians won't allow it. And it's stupid to expect them to allow it. So I really hope, Anthony Albanese, you listen to this and don't just sweep it under the carpet and hope that it's going to go away. As I said, ask Keir Starmer, it won't go away. These numbers will balloon to much bigger numbers.